Hi there, welcome. I made this watercolor piece the other day and now I'm going to try and, I don't know if I want to say replicate, but create a similar style and look using a digital oil paint. Hi there, welcome, welcome. So I know this part does not look fun or great, but we're going to create some of the background. Here's another piece that I did the other day. So I am recreating this watercolor piece with a digital oil painting style. So right now I'm getting down the colors in the background and start building up so that I can make these more detailed pieces. So obviously at first it's gonna look just like a bunch of strange blobs that I'm putting on canvas. This is one of those you have to trust the process. Oh goodness. Let's see. Good morning. Hi, Leisha. How are you? I am going to attempt to recreate a similar piece to this, the watercolor that I did, was it yesterday or the day before? One of those days. I think it was the day before. And so I'm just sort of getting my colors down the same way that I do with my other pieces that I do in a digital oil painting style. I made this one the other day. I am going to try and make a tutorial on it. So yeah. And then get down a flower right around here. Oh, Oh, thank you, thank you. A lot of these colors, so what I did was I took a photograph of this and then I made a color palette, doing add and then from a new photo, or new from photo, sorry. So I do have the basic colors down right here, but I don't feel like they came out nearly as vibrant as they are in person. So what you'll probably be seeing is, for example, I grabbed or selected this color and I just feel like it needs to actually be a lot warmer. So I'll be adjusting my color palette as I go. I really want to keep this, I'm hoping I can do this as loose as possible, slightly different from the style that I did here. This is still loose, but not nearly as loose as this watercolor that I did. So we'll see if I can pull it off. I have not tried this before, so this will be new for us all. We'll learn together. How has everyone's week been so far? Happy Friday, Junior. Happy Thursday. I'm using an iPad, I believe it's 11 Pro, and I'm using the app PROCREATE. That's the application. You could easily follow along. Even if you are not using PROCREATE, you could do a similar style. You know, you might have to find the brushes that work for you. You might have to do slightly different steps, but a lot of the programs work very similarly. So there's plenty of times where I will watch a tutorial on it, like myself, like watching someone put something together on, say, like Photoshop, and I can translate it to PROCREATE just fine. I'm gonna try my best not to get too caught up in the details. Those are things that really I can add later, but also slow me down. And the more that I, like think and focus on the detail, I end up like losing the inspiration. So I'm gonna try really hard to just stay focused on moving faster than my brain. I'm gonna try and keep my brush strokes moving faster than I can convince myself it wasn't the right way to do it or handle it. Okay, so the smudge tool I'm using, the brush that I'm using specifically in PROCREATE, I'm using turpentine. Smudge is also turpentine. You can of course utilize whatever brushes work best for you. I like this, the texture. I like the way that the paint moves. So, yeah. And I know a little bit more orange in here. It's not bright enough. And I'm so sorry. Leisha, you said, I'm all right. It's a very slow morning. Oh, that's good. Slow's good. I'm glad that it's not too crazy. How's the weather? How's the snow there? Let's see. I'm going to actually, I'll keep that one. I'm going to adjust this one. There we go. I'm trying really hard to let this be similar to the watercolor. We'll see how that goes. I'm not entirely sure that that will work out the way that I'm hoping, but we will find out. Oh, hi there. Thank you so much. So this is just like one of the examples that I'm sort of using as a beginning spot to work on, and already I'm actually really hating the way that it's coming together. So I think what the mistake I made was starting with two, I think I started with one of these colors. So I actually should probably start with something like this with more of a pink to it and use that as my base. So what's I know that it can be maybe discouraging, but what's nice about when you're working on one layer, you sort of like let go of the attachment to how it's supposed to look. Like, I'm not afraid to just paint over it. I think starting with a light color, thank you, will just help in general. And then, let's see, I'm gonna get some leaves down in this area. And then I'm gonna use the smudge tool to just sort of soften up. Like the way that it rests in there. The one brush that I'm using all the way through is turpentine. I'm also using that for the smudge. I try not to erase because I'm working on just one layer, because that's how you get the best use out of the turpentine brush, because then the paint actually interacts with each other. So if I use the smudge tool on this one layer, it's going to select the green and the pink and actually blend it together, versus if I did on a separate layer the green, if I painted green here, one, you can already see it's transparent right there. But then when I go to smudge, it doesn't actually grab the pink. It's just grabbing the green and moving it around, which, by the way, there's no problem if you actually intentionally are going to use a layer to add in certain details. I obviously do that. But I like to try my best to keep everything on the same, I can do this on the same layer, because then when I go to make some adjustments like this, the colors actually interact the way it would with paint if you were painting on a canvas, right? On canvas, we're working on the one layer. We don't get to erase stuff. So at least for me, I also find it's really helpful in challenging myself and my skill, you know, to work on the one layer and hold myself to pushing through some of the discomforts that come up, because I definitely, there's sometimes there's multiple times where it happens in a piece where you just hate what's happening. And again, there's a lot of projects that I do layers in, but I do think it's also good practice sometimes to just work through it, if you can, depending on your type of project that you are working on. It's not always the best method for the project you're working on, but if it feels like a good place to practice, I suggest trying it out. I'm going to put in a little bit of yellow here and here, maybe up here, and then just a little bit. And then towards the end, what I might do on a separate layer, I haven't done this before on my other projects, but I'll probably, instead of using turpentine, which I've been using, I'll probably go to inking and maybe use, maybe painting, no, drawing, question mark, Blackburn, and like create additional details to help it stand out. So I might do something like this at the end to sort of add in those details that I created in places like that. But for now, I'm going to leave that towards the end. All right. And switch back to, I can do this. Okay, hold on. I just thought of something. I'm going to see how this looks. If I use the Blackburn brush here, what it looks like when I start to use, like, is that too detailed? That might actually work. Okay, I lied to you guys, not on purpose. I'm gonna try using the Blackburn to create my lines, and then for smudging, I'm gonna use the turpentine brush. So we'll see how that goes now. I think that'll help prevent me from creating too many areas where it's not defined, like this. We'll see. Oh, no problem. Just the thought. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. You know, I'm thankfully close to full monetization. I'm almost at 4,000 watch hours. So, you know, just watching and engaging helps a ton. All right, I'm liking this better. I think this is coming together much better. I don't know about you guys. Input's welcome. Let's see. I'm gonna put maybe this color next. All right, and then I really want to incorporate more of this orange and yellow like I did in here. So let's see if I can do that without ruining it. The other option that I have is I could use, here's an example of using a layer that would be helpful, is putting this here. I know it doesn't look good, bear with me. Let me get in some of the orange color as well here. And then I can use some of the, I can't even think. This could be a good one. Blending modes, that's the word, blending modes. Just took me a sec. So this could be a good one, especially if I like lower the opacity on it. The pen light looks more natural, and then from there I could, you know, blend it in more using the blending, the turpentine brush that I've been using for blending. I don't know that I'll do it that way, but I just wanted to show the possibilities. I think something like that could look good, so maybe what I'll do is combine it like that, so now it's all in one layer. and then add a new layer, select yellow, get that nice bright color in there. There, there's a little bit here, here, and use my blending tool. So I can either leave that like that, or I can mess around with the blending modes. I'm just gonna combine them as is. So here we are. Okay, use the smudge tool. I don't want to over smudge because then I will lose the shapes, right? That's, you don't want to go overboard because otherwise it just becomes a block, right, that you added. So I do want to try and be selective with where I choose. Sort of like here, you'll see the defined edge here, but then it softens and connects here. That's kind of what we're going for. They're not going to be identical because this is watercolor and this is oil paint and digital, but I just want to capture the essence. Okay, so I'm almost done with this, and then I'll go in and I will make sure that the details in the center are more defined, and then we'll just sort of move on to getting more floral elements added as well. Okay, and then I'm going to select this dark color, go back to the center. That might be too dark. And then that's how I get rid of when my little side of my hand, I do have palm rejection on, but it makes mistakes every once in a while. Okay, so will probably, take a break from this. I'll see if after working on other parts of the piece, something stands out to me, but for now we'll stay there. Right now this one's starting to remind me more of this one than this one, but again, I'm just using it as a general reference. I'm not trying to copy it exactly. Let's see, let's grab this. I am definitely about this brush right now. I didn't think I'd like it this much, but I think it's a good choice for this project. Okay, so then do the same over here. Let's see. So I'm gonna work up the background a little bit. So I am gonna go back to the turpentine brush for a few minutes here, just to start filling in some of this space. This. Is anyone working on a project right now themselves? If so, what's the subject matter? How is it going? And I'm going to add a floral element here. Okay, and I'm going to now add in some of these colors. this. And then I need, I'll do it here, delete that. I need like a green, you know? Because these are, I mean, they're green, but they have a little bit more like blue to them, and this has more yellow. So I just need sort of like a middle of the line green, like a true green. I did not mean to do that. That's fine. Okay, now I need are so quiet. Hi. Do you guys have any topics you want to talk about? Questions? Things about your artwork you'd like to share? Does anybody else do this for stress relief and management? Ooh, I don't know if you guys could hear the wind there. All right, I'm gonna move on from, I actually really hate this area, so what I'm gonna do, I was gonna move on, but as soon as I said it, I was like, I can't leave it. So I'm just gonna paint over it real quick, but I'm gonna use a different brush. Oh, what am I doing? Painting turpentine. There we go. Might also paint back in some white. Well, thank you for the vote of confidence. I definitely need it. I don't always feel like I have it all under control, you know? I suppose that's part of maybe the healing process for me in using my art is like letting go of control, letting go of the perfectionist attitudes. I might end up actually just painting over a lot of this because I think I'm starting to get a sense of how I want this to look. Not all of this, but like what I mean is like some of the stuff that I did here. Hi there. Okay, and now I'm going to go with my smudging tool and just sort of blend this a bit. Yes, thankfully the weather has calmed down a lot. It's just like the storm yesterday passed. So it just brought in like a cold front now, so it's very chilly, it's very windy. But other than that, it's fine. But I do miss the warmth. I'm so ready for spring, it's not even funny. But yes, all is well here now. Okay, I think so for the most part I've got like the background sort of established a bit more now. Now I know how I would start this project differently in the future, so that's good. Learned something. How about for you? Is it still snowing or has it finally stopped? Please tell me it stopped. All right. I'm so sorry for those of you who've been with me since the beginning and have been watching this unfold, but I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna, you know, basically start from scratch. It's fine. I'm just covering up some of these areas and I'll just combine them and then blend them. just think it'd probably be best if I had the whole background established. No, not an eraser. Thank you. Here we are, finally. I'm going to duplicate this in case I mess up and want to use it. And just don't want to have to start all the way over. So I'm going to select sunflowers. Okay, sort of map this out. One here, one here. Me too. I look forward to when the wind passes. You know how like after storms, just like it brings through that wind. Like, thank you, wind. You've done a great job. You can leave now. You've brought in the cold. Congratulations. Okay. So that's probably a good... Oh, no need to apologize. I know you're busy. I know you got kiddos you're worrying about. Okay. So I'm still going to use that defining brush, but I think what I'm going to do is use it sparingly. So I'm going to get down my shapes this way first. Sort of like when I do, like, for example, with this watercolor. In the background, there's sort of these looser shapes, and then you, right, as you build each layer, the shapes become more defined. I'm going to try and do that. Attempt. We'll see. I had a lot of different ideas in my head that how I thought this would go, and it's just not going at all that way, which is not a bad thing. It's just, you know, I'm adapting, and what sounds good may not actually translate to good once I start trying it out, so we'll find out. Actually, no, you can stay. I should probably put some stuff around it. Yes, I am doing digital today. Normally I do strictly digital. It's not very often I do lives where I do other types of medium, but I'm really in the mood and feeling watercolor. But I was like, today I should do some digital stuff, because I know that's, you know, a lot of my audience came here for the digital art. Got over a foot of snow, but the rain is supposed to be coming, so hopefully it'll melt fast. Oh, I hope so. I hope that it doesn't get too, like, icy. That's, like, always our fear, is, like, the ice afterwards. Okay, I need to... Hi there, hello. Salut. Okay, this is probably a good start. Let's see if I can... Okay, since I like this... Since I like where we're at, I am now going to duplicate this layer just in case I mess it up. I have a starting point now. So now I'm gonna try this one. I'm getting the sense that this one is like leaning more this way. So like that's part of the center. Let me zoom in, sorry guys. All right, I think this is the point where I'm going to switch to the Blackburn brush to start creating some details. Why do you keep doing this to me? Okay, let's select this dark color. I want to start building the center. I'm going to switch back to the turpentine brush and see if I can add in just a little bit more texture and depth. I definitely find the flowers to be the most challenging part of this project, so we'll see what happens. me try some like this. Oh, I keep forgetting my music. It's more like my background noise, but you know what I mean. Hello. And no pressure, guys, but if you have not yet given this a thumbs up, that would be awesome. And if you feel so inclined to press the little share button down at the bottom, you can just press copy link. You don't have to send it anywhere. Just pressing that will help tell the algorithm that you enjoy being here and that you thought it was worth sharing with someone by pressing that button. I'm gonna leave this one alone for a minute. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm just gonna move over here. I'm trying to think how I want to create this because the flowers are really what's getting me, and maybe I need to rethink the design. Maybe I need to loosen it up even more than I've been doing. Maybe that's the problem. Center here. I'm determined to not give up on this project. Like, I will figure this out. You guys just might get to see a bunch of really ugly versions for a while. So I don't know much about the type that you want. I would say, I imagine if it's 2021, it would be compatible. My biggest thing would always be to tell someone if you're going to go the iPad route, just make sure it's compatible with a stylus, just because older versions are not. And so you could download the app, but then you wouldn't have a stylus. You could only draw with your finger. Mine is 11 Pro. So mine's the 11. It's not the 12.9. I don't have a problem with it. I've never thought I need a bigger one, but I mean, that's just a personal preference. Stop erasing. It really is just like, what can you afford? If you can't afford it and you want a larger screen, definitely go for it. I see nothing wrong with that, but I have a smaller screen. And I think it's fine. No complaints. I think this is the style that I need to go with, by the way. This version can be connected to Apple Pencil 2. Fantastic. Yeah, honestly, to me, that's the most important thing, is just making sure it's compatible with a stylus. And for the longest time, I didn't have an Apple Pen. I just had other types of pens, so I love that you're getting the... You're very welcome. The Apple Pencil 2. Apple Pencils are fantastic. I really can't say enough good things about them. I got mine secondhand off of eBay, and it's been wonderful. I worked for, like, was it 4 years on non-Apple stylus, and they did lack some of the features that I really have come to enjoy, but it was still doable. Like, if you don't have an Apple pencil, you could definitely still make your art. You just won't have like the pressure sensitivity, which is a big deal, but also I found a way around it for 4 years, so it is possible. Yeah, and I can't say enough good things about Procreate. I've not used other applications, so I can't speak to any others, like apps in terms of on an iPad. I learned how to digitally paint and animate and draw in Photoshop many years ago. And I stayed with that until 2020. And then when we were all homebound and I wanted to be able to work, because I had 2 young ones, I wanted to be able to work on my iPad from, the couch, rather than at my desktop. So that was the point at which I tried out the iPad and Procreate, and I really did fall in love with it. Like, I have so many good things to say about this app, so... For what I do, it's more than enough, If I was doing a lot of, fancy stuff, like photo editing and whatnot, like I can still do some photo editing, but this is not like it's not like the software you think of to use for photo editing. But I've used this to make illustrations for children's books. I've done freelance work while using this just fine. Use homemade pencil in an Android device. Works decent. Oh, that's good. I just feel like for the price, like if you're just strictly doing digital art and like that's your main focus, I feel like this program's amazing for the price point. I had Photoshop before Photoshop became the like rentable, like basically like you're renting it each month, Oh, hi. Hello, kitty. It scared the crap out of me. How are you? Yeah, you gonna come sit? Hi, baby. I was using Photoshop back before they had that, so I actually like owned the program. Like I have it on my desktop. But it's a much older version now, and yeah, I was excited to try something different. If you don't know if you have more GB RAM, more layers, yes. Yes, so that was definitely something to consider as well. Thank you for pointing that out. I have a lot of storage on this, or at least I feel like I do, compared to my kiddos have Procreate on their iPads, but they have far less layers than I do because mine's just bigger. So in terms of storage. Okay, I like this. I don't like this. So we're just gonna, like usual, paint over it. Hi, baby. Are you sitting with me? How you doing, Bubba? Hi. Okay, so now if I just paint on top of this, it won't show up nearly as much. Go back to that pink. Got that. Let's see if I can do something with this real quick. Hopefully it won't take long. I'm really not interested in spending forever on this piece. Plus, the longer I spend on the piece, the more sucked into the details I get. And the whole point of this is to keep it, like, loose. Hi, sweet girl. What you doing? My cat really likes to lay on top of paper of all things. I don't know what it is about paper, but she's really about it. And so she's just laying on top of my art. Huh, baby? Getting your fur all up in it. Okay, and let's see. Just do things like this to sort of add some depth to it. Okay, hopefully that works. Do the same over here. Smudge. No. Switch back to turpentine. Okay. Oh, no, thank you for asking. My day is pretty good. Got my kiddos to school on time. Did a bunch of video editing this morning before I came live, so that way I have stuff to post later. Yeah, it's a good week, good Thursday. How about you? That's fun. Okay, let's do this one. If you guys have noticed, I'm definitely avoiding the larger one. That one's a problem for later. Oh, I'm finally at the point. I've had this for several months now where I've worn down. Let me see. I have my replacement somewhere nearby. Give me a moment. Where did Mommy put those? Huh? It's probably in this box. All right. There we go. Okay. No, you don't want to be responsive to me. It's fine. You were just working. Why? Thank you. Okay, so back to Blackburn. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, my pen and the tip of the nib or whatever are not happy with one another. Can we work together, guys? No? That would be too much to ask. Glad to hear you're having a good day. Go. Work on that, then that. And then we're going to expand on filling up the leaves in the area. As soon as I figure out. There we go. Hi, sweet girl. You're so funny. Hi. Thank you. Hello. Oh, yes. There's nothing like the back end of you facing. Yes. Rub your face all over my art supplies. Hi. Oh, that's a good stretch. Hi. Yeah? You see what I'm doing? Hi, baby. No, we don't want, no, let's not hit the camera. Hi. Yes, hi, baby. For those of you wondering, she's literally right there. Hi, Bubba. Hi. Yeah. You're just making sure I'm doing my artwork, huh? Oh, thank you. Hey, thank you. Hi, baby. Just up close and personal today, are we? I can assure you my pen is not a toy. Nice. Hi. Yeah, I love you too. Thank you. Thank you, baby. Hi. Let's see. Back to this one. Change the size. I don't know if you can see, but her whiskers are here. Nice. And let's see. I need to do is coming. So I went to school for media arts and animation. I did not graduate. I just couldn't afford school at the time. I was working 3 jobs and trying to support myself living outside my parents' home. But, you know, I think art is a skill and it's one that can be developed. And so if that's something that you're interested in, start practicing, start doing it now. You know, whether you can take art classes in person or, you know, you hang out in lives like this. There's so many different ways to learn and improve your skill. I also, it's very difficult and very challenging, but I also really encourage you, if you can, find a safe and supportive group of artists that you can ask for feedback from, so that they can give you constructive, helpful feedback that's meant to encourage you and help you grow and not, you know, not tear you down, not, you know, not on some sort of weird power trip. Just finding a good group of artists that are just looking to improve. It can be hard to be vulnerable like that and show, you know, our art oftentimes is a reflection of what's going on inside. Things that, you know, not always like super deep feelings, but it can be things like, you know, showing things that we like and things that we enjoy, and it can be really hard to express that and share it with others in case there's judgment. But if you can find a good safe group to, you know, explore growing and you know, better understanding your art, your strengths, your weaknesses, areas of growth, that'd be really, really helpful. I knew from a really young age that I wanted to be an artist. I very much, from like age 5, I knew that I loved art, and I just, anything that I could get my hands on, I wanted to try, and that's never changed. I've tried a lot of different kinds of art. If I may give some unsolicited advice, don't be afraid to try things that you're not good at. Try art styles you think you would normally hate, dislike, maybe zero interest in. There's always something to be learned. I wish that was something that I had tried sooner. I did end up learning that lesson in college because I went into college having a very specific art style and interest, but as I went through my education, I realized I had limited myself so much because I only wanted to draw what I felt comfortable with. And thankfully, through that, you know, I learned a lot about different styles, and I really pushed myself to learn things I hadn't learned before, and I think it helped round me out as an artist. Yeah. For example, even now with this is not my art style. This is absolutely not my art style. This is me playing around and exploring. In no way is this my art style. My art style is more, I have a couple different kinds, but my art style tends to be more like, or like this. This is my art style. Another example is like this. This is my art style. I have a couple different styles. So this is what I would consider like my painting style, but I have like an illustration style. I have done illustrating for children's books before. So my style tends to be more like this. for like children's books and illustration. Here's more. This is like my painting style. Again, more my painting style. Yeah. But I have like an illustration style, and then I have the painting style. And then, you know, I try other things like this, which is, you know, like a watercolor type feel. This was my first like real try. Well, actually, this was my first, and then this was my first like tutorial doing it. But this was like my first oil painting, like using the digital oil painting brushes. I had never done that before. So, you know, it's worth exploring. You never know what you might find along the way. You know? So it's something that I've grown to like. It helps keep me again loose and trying, you know, new things, different ways of bringing the paints together. It's by no means perfect. I have lots to still learn. Apparently I still make mistakes, and you know, it happens. I'm gonna go like that, and like I'm just gonna duplicate this until that goes away. One more. There we go. So I like this dark green. I'm gonna go in with the brush here and use this to help create just some line work that makes it stand out a bit more. Oh, hi, pretty girl. Hi, baby. Hello. Thank you for joining. Also, I picked up watercolor. It's almost 2 years, but not quite. 2 years ago, I did not stick with it the full 2 years, but I go through phases where I spend several months practicing and, you know, learning new techniques and stuff. I don't know what my style is yet, but I feel like I've started to figure it out. I think this is pretty close. These two are probably close to my style. But I have plenty that, yeah, like this. That's just me practicing, right? Like, I don't know that it has a style to it per se, but this one was one of my favorites that I've ever made. Yeah, I learned a lot because of watercolor. So, you know, just opening ourselves up to things we're not comfortable with. No problem. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. No need to apologize. Thank you for being here and hanging out with us. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. It's great having you here. No? Okay, fine. That's fine. Do that. Awesome. Keep practicing, keep painting, drawing, whatever it is that you love, keep doing it. It's okay if a couple weeks, months, years even go by. You can always pick it back up. Anybody else struggle with that? I put my art down for several years, and I had this narrative in my head that I wasn't really an artist because of it, and it really prevented me from, you know, sticking to it and picking it back up again. All right. I don't know if you guys heard me almost sneeze. I somehow managed to not do it. My cat wants out of the room. Give me 1 second. go through phases, but I'm trying to stick with it. Love it. I definitely feel this. I even went through this just last month. I was really overwhelmed by just the state of the world and just all the things going on between, like, at least in the United States. I don't know if you're from here, but like with the TikTok ban and stuff, it was just really hard to feel inspired. It was really, really hard to like want to, you know, make anything. So I gave myself permission to just sort of write out those feelings, and then eventually I was like, okay, you've moped enough. Like, it's time. And then I finally managed to start creating. But in the past, I would have held myself to like a really unrealistic expectation of, like, you know, if you're a real artist, like, you don't put it down, you don't step away. Because man, I had friends, I still have friends, but especially in college, that like were just drawing and painting and creating all the time, and I just was like, I can't, I don't have that in me. And I thought maybe it was because I wasn't really like an artist, or I wasn't a good artist, or, you know, whatever. Lots of self-doubt and stuff. Ultimately, just people are different, you know? We all go through phases. Okay. I need to smudge this out. I'm not a fan of you, and that's okay. Oh, that scared me. Sometimes I'm so easily startled. Definitely my absolute favorite to draw is nature. Like, hands down, nature is my favorite. Absolutely. I would say after nature, landscapes, after landscapes. So, okay, something I really, really want to draw, and I would say is my favorite, but just I'm not great at it, is humans. And that's actually a goal of mine for this year, is to get better at humans. I do need to get back into it, but like I said, I've been struggling with creativity. So I just said, paint whatever you're feeling inspired by right now, and then we'll get back on track with the goals. So I think this is like in January I started this. So I haven't finished this one, but I started taking photographs and just trying to see if I could paint eyes, because I went to go draw a human, and I went, you know what, I actually, like, it's been a while. Like, when I was in college, right, we did both human and animal anatomy studies. I had to take whole classes on it, right? And then we would have like nude models, and we'd practice all the time. But obviously I don't have nude models just hanging out in my house. So it's been a minute since I've really practiced. And then I realized, like, you know what, it's been a long time. I don't remember how to like really put the face together, put the head to the neck to the body, you know, all those things. So I was like, you know what, just start with one feature at a time. So we're starting with the eyes. From there, I'd like to do nose and mouth, then put it all together in a face. From there, then, you know, maybe study arms, hands, feet, legs, and then hopefully be able to kind of put it all together. Maybe I move faster, maybe I go in a different order, but that was kind of my thought behind it. Really enjoyed. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you. I definitely, like, I want my channel to kind of, I want to help people that are, say, like, and I say this respectfully for lack of a better way of saying it, but like behind where I'm at, I want people to understand, like, it's a whole journey. And I'm behind other artists, and there are artists that are behind where I'm at. And I think it's just this collective, like almost, I think of it as like a ladder or like a staircase. Like we can all reach behind us and help the next person get up to the next level. And so I'm not going to pretend that I'm like the most knowledgeable, best, but I'm going to share what I know. I like being, you know, honest, transparent, and one of my values in life is being authentic. So I try to just like show up and be honest about where I'm at. You know, and I hope that I inspire someone who maybe like, I know that I look at some artists right now and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm never going to be there. Like I just look at their art in complete awe and I'm just like, wow. But I also know there was a point in my own journey where I'm at now, I would have been in awe of myself, because I was not at this stage, right? So I try to remember that when I'm having the imposter syndrome and I'm like, you're not nearly as good as other artists and you shouldn't, you know, speak on topics like you're an authority figure or anything like that. But then I try to remember, like, you know, we're all allowed to show up and share and be at the place that we're at. So thank you. I really enjoy teaching and sharing with others. This has been a really nice journey. Here's another that I did. I really want to finish this last page because I had some good eyes that I was really excited to do. This one was a little overwhelming because I decided to try and do both eyes. I'm also going to try and do both eyes. The other ones I only did the one eye. So I'm trying to like figure out how to do like the bridge of the nose and then also like the perspective of the eyes. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited to give it a try. So I'll probably return back to that next week. And in the meantime, I'm just doing florals because I'm really in the mood for spring and I've been really feeling that seasonal depression. Use easy shapes like squares, cylinder for anatomy. Yeah, I'm working on dynamic poses too. Yes, yes, definitely. Definitely. I think one of my favorite things in school that we did was we would I was in the city and there was a zoo nearby, and so I took an animal anatomy class, and we go to the zoo once a week, and we go, you know, just sit and observe the animals and draw them. I loved that. I know I've shared this story before, but no joke. So in one of my classes, it was the animal anatomy one in particular. So we would bring in animals into the classroom, and like one time they brought in like animals that were no longer able to be put back into the wild just because they had like been injured or were ill in some way. And so they brought in those animals. So we had like a possum, we had turtles, we had a hawk. I wish I could remember, but those were like the ones that stand out the most. I remember them. And then then there was one day where they decided to bring in there were a bobcat. There was a bobcat, cute as could be, terrifying, but cute as could be. It was kneading its claws like a normal house cat would into, they were up on these like little stages where we would normally have the like nude models, and it had like blue worn carpet on it, and the cat was just kneading its claws in it. It was so cute. And then lynx. I think we had lynx. They're the small ones that look like mini wildcats. And then we had an actual cheetah. I'm not exaggerating. They actually had it with a, what is it called? Like a metal chain around its neck. And I remember them like instructing us, like, whatever you do, you know, don't make any sudden movements, you know. And I'm like, okay, cool, I got that. Like no sudden movements. And what happens? The guy next to me drops his pencil sharpener, and the cheetah's head swivels to us. And I'm like, if I die today, it's your fault. Like it's like, oh my God. But it was a really cool experience. It was neat. It definitely scared me. I had a much more appreciation for wild animals after that, especially wild cats. But it was a really cool experience. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of using like chalk. Is anybody else getting that kind of feel from this? Like chalk almost? Maybe oil pastels? Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for hanging out, Megan. Okay, maybe let's try this one. I think this would be better. Right there. I really wish that I had pictures of that day. I did not. It was before the iPhone, or if the iPhone was out, it was one of those things that like not everyone had. At that time, I had like a pay-as-you-go phone. Oh gosh. With like a SIM card that you had to take out. Does anybody else remember when they got like their first smartphone? Mine was I was like one of the last people to get it. So mine was like super memorable. I was like, oh my God, I'm like everybody else. I also remember the first game that I downloaded, and it was Fruit Ninja. It was a significant moment in my history. Oh, when life was simpler. Okay, I want something more like maybe like that color. I think that's still like too saturated. Okay, I like this idea. I just need to put it in with this. Yes, getting a smartphone was such a big deal, and now it's just the norm, right? I remember even before getting the smartphone, yes, the Razr flip phone was a huge deal. Mine was pink, I remember. Oh my gosh, yes, that was like such a big deal. That was the nicest phone I ever owned, and I remember being like so excited about it. And then I used to put my phone in my back pocket, and you know, when I was younger, I would drink quite a bit, And I'd always forget, and then when I was drunk, it would fall into the toilet when I went to go pee at parties, and then I'd lose a phone. So it got to the point where that's how I ended up with my my pay-as-you-go phone, because I couldn't afford to replace it at a certain point, and that was the natural consequence, I guess. Ah, too funny though. Good times. Oh gosh, just the amount of phones I lost to that. I never lost a phone. I just would lose them to the toilet. And like I remember, no joke, so I did that. The next day I had the phone in my back pocket, did it again. And I was like, I can't believe I've done this 2 days in a row. Oh gosh. Yes, my first phone, Nokia. Yep, played the snake game. Yes. Oh man. Yes, 100%. My first phone was the Nokia. I definitely remember very fond memories of playing Snake. Yes. Oh, too funny. Life. Right? Okay, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that had a really tragic party phase that ended in phones never coming back to life. No, you're not gonna. Okay, that's just repeat. Honestly, I'm surprised I even had like a party phase. I think, well, I know why it happened. It's because I really was very unhappy and I was doing everything I could to drown myself from the sadness. But, man, like, I hate drink. I very seldomly drink now. I hate the way it makes me feel. I don't like hangovers. I don't like headaches, which most alcohol causes me to have a headache. It's just not, I'm just not interested. Yeah, yeah. I think, I'm not surprised based on like at least my upbringing. I had just no coping skills, I didn't have any coping strategies. Um, and so I think in my head, the only way to feel better was to just not feel. But gosh, am I glad I've learned better skills. Life's so much better when you can manage things a little bit easier. Doesn't mean like bad feelings don't come up. It's much better to know how to handle them. There are some rough days. Oh, and the self-sabotage too. I don't miss looking for ways to ruin my own happiness. Like, life will do that for you. Just enjoy the highs while they're there. The lows will come, all on their own. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Like, I've kind of like let go of my desire for it to look like this and just started like doing whatever, you know? It definitely, it feels more like a chalk project, and I'm liking it. What? No, no. Don't erase. Don't do that. I know this might sound odd, but I remember more of my party days than any other part of my life. You know, I feel a lot of that. Like, I very much still have like always been known annoyingly to those around me with how good of a memory I have, but I think my party days also stand out, and I don't know if this is the same for you, Alicia, but I think because it was like the first point in my life where I started to, whether it was wrong or not helpful, it was like it was finally like my choice. It was like my time. So yeah, I made a lot of crappy decisions, but they were mine. They were mine. I wish in some ways that I could remember less of my party days, but you know, here we are. Memory unfortunately fully intact. It's weird to, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. It's really weird to think back at the version of myself, you know, that I used to be. I don't identify with that person. Sometimes it feels like a completely different life. Like, I happen to have their memories and I was present, but it just doesn't feel like me. Yeah. It's funny the way like trauma and stuff will like impact our memory. You know, some people like dissociate. I always found that I have had like I tend to remember unusual details. I'll remember things like the lighting outside coming in through the window, or like I'll remember like what shoes I was wearing. I remember like odd details about things. You know what? I'm gonna see if this helps. I just, you know, to make this happier looking. These colors are just not happy enough for me. Better. Not perfect. It's better. Right, looking back at the person, I was like, yikes, what was she thinking? Yeah, very much. Ugh, and like the people that I've dated or been friends with, you know, not all of them. So if you're here or you find your way here, I'm not talking about you most likely. But you know, it's really bizarre the situations that I would put myself in simply because I was so desperate to be like loved and accepted. Definitely not that way anymore. I mean, I'm sure that lingers, but like, I'm really not desperate to be loved no matter what now. Because there are standards now. I think for now, I'm just going to close this out and just draw. Let's see, I want brighter yellow, so I'm going to get rid of that and do bright. I'll probably, let's see what time is it, 1:20. I've been on for 118 minutes. I'll probably stay on like 10 more minutes and then go. Give myself a snack, reset, and if I have time and energy, I might go live later, but later I'll do watercolor, I think. It's good for me to change it up. Yeah, I think if we cover this, like that looks more cohesive, like it's coming together slowly but surely. So I just gotta like, yeah, tie it all together in time. We'll figure this out. It has been this long, right? As I accidentally erase this. Yeah, time flies when you talk a lot, I guess, and you have fun while you're doing it. Oh, let's use that. I think that is something that's like really neat is like when time, like when you get in like a state of flow and you like don't notice the time's gone by. I like that. I need one. Let's see. Go like this. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Yeah, I think, you know, I still have a ways to go, but I think if I just keep working at this, I'll be able to pull it together. It just might take me, you know, a bit more time. I've learned that if I just stick with a project, I can usually, you know, eventually pull it off. It just might take me a while to get there. I mean, those of you who were with me during the hand ordeal, if you guys don't know, I hate painting, drawing, thinking about hands. And this hand made me cry so much. So much. And it took me so long, so many hours to get it right. But I eventually got it right. I don't know if it's perfect, but I got it like believable, right? Like passable. So I persevered. Oh gosh. Yeah, I think once I rework this, it'll start to look and feel more like one whole piece, and then I can kind of figure out where I need the rest of the leaves to go. But I think this is probably a good spot for me to take a break. If you want to look at something prettier, I did that the other day. Same method. It just happened to work out better. So thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. If you haven't, go check out my tutorials and some of my other videos. I know some of them are holiday themed, but there are plenty that are not, thank goodness. And I will be continuing to make more tutorials now that I'm back at it. And yeah, thank you all so much for your time. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Hopefully later today, I'll be in the mood to do some watercolor. I'll probably attempt something like this later if I do come back on. Something more like a forest. So, all right, take care, guys. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.